What's going on, guys? This is Aaron from Departures Capital. We're here with Galen McNamara, CEO and Director of Summa Silver. How are you doing today, Galen?
I'm very well, Aaron, and thanks for having me on the show. How are you?
I'm great. Excited to talk about your company and silver. So Summa Silver is a Canadian junior mineral exploration company with two famous high-grade past producing properties in the US. Can you tell us a bit more about the company and your two projects?
Sure. Well, okay. So to start from the beginning, Summa Silver is a company that I founded near the beginning of 2020, in March of 2020, really with the idea of going after some of the best known historic silver districts in the US. So we've got a project in Nevada and we've got a project in New Mexico. And the idea is that, every time you go into some of these big old districts, you always find that when you take a modern approach and apply some modern exploration thinking, that there's lots of juice left to squeeze. And that's really what we're just beginning to find out now. Like I was saying, the company is very young. Since getting started, we've raised a total of $23 million. And I'm really happy to say that, in the last about year and a half, we've just been diligently drilling away on the first one, and then now very recently the second one of these projects. And so far, the results are very, very strong.
Awesome. So, what are the benefits of working in regions like Nevada and New Mexico?
That's a good question. I'm a really big fan of doing exploration in the southwestern US, especially in a state like Nevada. It actually is the silver state. When you drive into Nevada, it says, "Welcome to Nevada, the silver state," because of projects like we have. But even bigger than that, Nevada is this year the #1 rated jurisdiction in the world for mining investment. And that comes out of the Fraser Institute. And it's always in the top 3. So it really doesn't get much better than working in a place like Nevada. And then in a place like New Mexico, it has a storied history of high grade mining. There's 2 large open pit copper mines operating there now. And the potential in New Mexico, because it hasn't really been looked at in as much detail as Nevada, is very, very strong.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's peace of mind for investors being in a safe jurisdiction as well. So, what sets Summa Silver apart from other gold and silver exploration companies working in those regions?
Well, good silver projects are really hard to find. Good high-grade silver projects are really, really hard to find. And finding those projects in a jurisdiction like Nevada or New Mexico is nearly impossible. So I would think that would be #1. But #2, it's really our approach to making discovery, our approach to drilling, and our approach to geology. We're going into these 2 historic districts where back 100 years ago, whatever, when they were last looked at, their last mined, the people back then didn't really have the same expertise or same even, technology that we have today that we can, now use to our benefit to apply and really pick up where they left off, really stand on their shoulders. So those I think, really are the 2 key things are, the quality of the projects and just our approach to making discoveries.
Definitely. So Summa Silver has already seen some impressive results from your 10,000 meter 2021 drill program at the Hughes property in Tonopah, Nevada. Can you tell us about those?
Yeah, so we're just finishing up our 2021 drill program in Nevada. And what we found that, like I was saying, you go into these historical, famous old districts, you always find that there's juice left to squeeze. So of course, it's no surprise that we're hitting some very, very substantial grades and some very, very strong results. So, we're talking about grades that, are locally in excess of 10,000 grams per ton in a couple of our drill holes. That's like percent level silver equivalent material, which is probably, 20 times higher than the average underground grade in places like Mexico or Peru. So very, very high grades exist. But even like zooming out and just looking at the entire property, we've drilled 4 targets over a strike length of 3.5 kilometers. And have found over those 4 targets, we're hitting grades greater than 1,000 grams per ton on all of them. So the thing is, it's like now we've just started to understand that there's lots of silver left. Now we have to really wrap our arms around how big it could actually be. So that's really what the focus is going forward, is just, drill, drill, drill.
Yeah, these are the exciting times right now. So the company also recently commenced a 15,000 meter drill program at its historically producing high grade silver and gold. Is it the Mogollon property?
Yeah, it's called Mogollon.
Property.
It's named after one of the old Spanish governors from the 1600s or something.
Yeah, the Mogollon property in New Mexico. So what have you learned so far from early results?
Well, so far the early results look very strong. Of course, we're still waiting on assays, but we're drilling vein systems that are in excess of 50 meters wide, and we're seeing those veins in the drill core. We're seeing the visible silver sulfide minerals in the drill core. And really, so what that shows us, it's like a proof of concept of our conviction that this is another place that still has a lot of life left in it, that, the old timers, stopped mining, and they only stopped mining here in 1942 because that's when the US went into World War II. So that's when all silver and gold mining stopped in the US by law. And really, these results just prove our geological thinking and our geological modeling that really prove that there's like a lot left to give in a place like this project in New Mexico as well.
Definitely. So you and your team have an incredible track record of success when it comes to making exciting discoveries. Who are the key members and how have they helped shape the company?
So I think let's start with our VP Exploration, Chris York. Chris is a guy that joined us from a major mining company about a year ago now, a little under a year ago. And he really is an expert at implementing large drilling programs in the field successfully, cost efficiently, and that type of thing. So he has a real rich background in Nevada drilling and working on similar projects that we have right now, both from an exploration standpoint, but also from an underground standpoint. So he understands, what it takes to put something into production. He understands what the needs are in that regard completely. So that's Chris. The second guy on the list, I would say, is Chris Leslie. And he works with us as a senior geologist with us here in Vancouver, with me here in Vancouver. And he's one of the guys that discovered the Blackwater gold deposit here in British Columbia. That's something like 8 million ounces in the proven and probable categories of gold right now. And then the next guy I would say on the list is Garrett Ainsworth. He's a technical advisor. Garrett's the guy that found the original uranium zones in the western Athabasca Basin here in Canada and Saskatchewan that led to the discovery of fission, that led to the discovery of NextGen. And he worked at both of those places. He actually worked with me at NextGen. And then the last guy, I guess, would be myself. Myself, Galen. I'm a geologist going back 15 years. And of course, before starting Summa, I was with NextGen, where I managed all the drilling in the field for 3 or 4 years. And we, of course, made some very, very large uranium discoveries. So it's for the technical team, the senior members of the technical team, and of course, I can't mention everyone, but we're 4 mid-career geologists, that really are hungry to continue to make big discoveries. This is really what we live for at Summa is seeing how big these things can get.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Quite the team you guys got there. So what are some key catalysts investors should keep an eye out for Summa Silver in 2022?
So 2022 is going to be really interesting. We've got 2 very strong projects, either of which could be a flagship. And it's basically like our motto for next year for 2022 is like license to drill. So I think there's going to be situations where we have double header results coming out of both projects that are very much high grade and very, very strong, with the goal of really building towards mineral resource estimates at the end of the year, so we can start to really define, at least in a first step, how much silver and gold could be left on these projects. We know it's a lot. We need to find out how much it is. But I just have this funny feeling that as drilling continues and we put out our first resources, well, we'll have already drilled outside of the resource estimate areas. So they'll already be, what's the word I'm looking for? A little bit out of date. So, that's our thinking here, is just as aggressively as possible build ounces.
Awesome. Love it. So last but not least, how can investors get in touch with the company, or where should they go for more information?
Great. Well, there's a few ways to contact us directly, at Summa Silver on LinkedIn or at Summa Silver on Twitter. The company's webpage is summasilver.com. And then there's an email address that you can use there. I think it's info@summasilver.com. And then last but not least, I'm on Twitter at Galen McNamara. And anyone can message me on there anytime. I'm very approachable, and I'm happy to answer any questions, even on Twitter.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Galen. Best of luck with the drilling and everything that you guys got going on. And I look forward to covering the story.
Great. Well, thanks very much, Aaron. Great to talk to you.
If you like these videos, kindly hit that subscribe button and the bell for notifications. Drop us a comment down below. We'd love to hear from you. And finally, always remember, Departures Capital is for information, education, and entertainment purposes only. Don't buy or sell stock because you heard it on here. Buy or sell a stock because you've done your research, you've done your thorough due diligence, and you're making your own personal investment decisions for yourself, this video is not financial advice. Furthermore, this video may or may not have been sponsored by the companies that we've profiled within this video, and we may or may not own shares of any of the profiled companies in this video. If you want to know the full disclosure details, check the description down below along with thoroughly reading our disclaimer. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I look forward to seeing you in our next video.